Well, we're finally coming out of the month of May and heading into June, and hopefully that means some warmer weather, but also that means being more active outdoors and getting ready for our next upcoming holiday, which is going to be the 4th of July. Now, one of the things that we always get in the communication engagement office is lots and lots of questions about fireworks and what are the rules and what's allowed and what isn't allowed. Well, I decided let's just go straight to the source. So I have two very important people here. Now that I said that, they're both smiling and giving me looks. So we have Chief Mark Jones, who's the Chief of Police for the City of Greeley, as well as Chief Dale Lyman for the Greeley Fire Department. Great to have both of you here today.
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
Okay, so Dale, I'm going to start with you because you and I have talked before about fire safety and fireworks during the 4th of July. A lot of that has not changed, but can we just remind folks at home what the rules are, what's legal, what's illegal
Sure.
in the City of Greeley so folks can get that list made?
Right, a pretty simple rule of thumb for citizens of Greeley is anything that you purchase at a fireworks stand in Greeley can be used in Greeley. The issue where problems occur is when people, say, travel to Wyoming and buy fireworks. And a lot of those fireworks are not only illegal in the state of Colorado, but they're also illegal in the city of Greeley. So anything that leaves the ground as a projectile and or explodes is illegal in Greeley. So back to that rule of thumb, if they buy it at a stand here in town, the fire department issues permits and we actively enforce what's sold at those stands to ensure that those items can be used in Greeley.
All right, so within Greeley city limits, we're good. Outside of that, things could be iffy. And I some of those we were talking before. So we've got the things that everybody has maybe a little bit of history with, like the bottle rockets, those M80s, artillery shells, the big, we always call mortars. But those are the ones where you hear the big kaboom. Those probably want to steer away from those.
Right, anything that's a projectile that leaves the ground. So a bottle rocket, a mortar, if there's actually a shell that goes into a tube and fires out, those are illegal. And the reason for that is there's so much risk with that debris, that fallout that comes from those type of devices. It puts the community at a huge risk for fire.
Right, which means a lot more work for your crews.
Absolutely.
That are working that night, and obviously the dangers that come with that from home and property. And we are in a semi-arid environment where things can be pretty dry. We had a little bit of a wet spring, but things are probably going to be drying out by the time we get to 4th of July. So definitely something to keep in mind. So along with that, I know you guys are working kind of together this year, and not that you haven't in the past, but one of the things that is changing is that you guys are going to be enforcing things a lot more this year than we have in the past.
We are. I think over the last several years, we haven't done a lot of enforcement. Part of it is just because of the pure volume of calls that we get make that difficult, but we've received more and more complaints. And last year was a special year in that there were numerous complaints of people exploding the very large fireworks. And this year we're going to start enforcing, and if you are exploding fireworks that are illegal, you're not only going to risk getting a ticket and have to go to court, but also we're going to be seizing the fireworks.
All right, so definitely if you are part of that family of folks that likes to go out and purchase the fireworks, because again, it is a celebration time, there's a lot of money that goes into this. And one of the things to be considered besides that property, the cost of if there is a fire, but also this chance of a fine. And I'm assuming that the fine is enough to be a pretty good deterrent, but it's something for folks to consider now.
It is, and I would say chances are, of course it's all in how much you spent, but I would say the risk that you'd probably lose more for losing your fireworks than the fine, because I know there are a lot of people that spend possibly several $100s on fireworks, and if we come out and you're doing it and they're illegal, we're going to take them. And so it's really the message, instead of us just always being the old ogres, is just to let people know that we're giving them a fair warning, if you will, that this year we're going to do the enforcement action. So we just want you to know that ahead of time.
All right. Well, anything else that you gentlemen would like to touch on before we kind of wrap things up here today on the fireworks?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I just encourage everybody to be safe, even with the legal ones. Make sure that they're in a an area where there's no combustibles nearby, and then also have a method of extinguishment, whether it be a garden hose or a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, for my grandfather, it was always the bucket. There was
Sure.
the big, huge bucket of water, and everybody knew that that's where the fireworks went after they were done, just to make sure. And of course, we were out on the farm. So there were lots of things that could burn, but even within the city, you still have that. So that's a great tip for everybody to keep in mind to make sure they stay
bet.
safe. So gentlemen, thank you both for
Yeah,
being here
thank you.
today. And for those of you who are watching, you can get more information. There should be a flyer out about those fireworks that will be at greeley.gov.com. So be safe. Remember, enforcement's going to be out this year, so think twice about purchasing those fireworks. Again, more information at greeley.gov.com.